Jai Radha Madhava. Kopi Janata Patra Giri Yashana Granam Yamashodananda Raja Janana Yahira Raja Yamunatira Raja Antaramya Kunjaliha Jayara Namadhava Kunjaliha Kunjala Bhavya Nirimarha Jayo Gopi Janavadava Nivarandare Niyashikam Ananda Niyashakanandana Ragadadaya Yashakanandana Ragadadaya Yashakanandana Ragadadaya Yashakanandana Ragadadaya Yamunatena Raja Yamunatena Raja Anaja Nagari Jaya Radha Madhava Nagari Jaya Radha Madhava Nagari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai, Adhara Srila Bhagavatam ki jai, Om Pranante Hari Hari Om. Om, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, text number 33. Tasyeva te vapur idam nija kala svaktya. Tasyeva te vapur idam nija kala shaktya. Sanchodita prakriti dharmana atma gudham. Sanjodita prakriti dharmana atma gudham. Abhasi ananta shrayanat viramat samadher. Ambhasi ananta shayanat viramat samadher. Nabher abhutsvakanika vatavan mabha mahabjam. Nabher abhutsvakanika vatavan mahabjam. Tasyeva teva pur idam nija kala shaktya. Teva pur idam nija kala shaktya. Sanchodita prakriti dharmana atma godham. Jodita prakriti dhamana atma godham. Abhasyananta shayanat viramat samadher. Vidashanat viramat samadher. Nabhar abhutsvakanika vatavan mahabjam. Tasyeva teva pur idam nija kala shaktya. Sanjodita prakriti dharmana atma godham. Abhasyananta shayanat viramat samadher. Namher abhutsvakanika vatavan mahabjam. This gem? Kaseva teva pur idam nija kala shaktya. Sanjodita prakriti dharmana atma godham. Abhasyananta shayanat viramat samadher. Nabher abhutsvakanika vatavan mahabjam. Any devotee online?
Tasyaiva teva por idam nijakara shatya. Sanchorita prakritis dharmana atma gudham. Abhyasyananta shanayad viramat samadher. Nabir abut svakanika Vatavan Mahabhyam.
Thank you. Tasya, of that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Eva, certainly. Te, of you. Vapu, the cosmic body. Idam, this universe. Nijakala Shaktya, by the potent time factor. Sanjotita, agitated. Prakriti Dharmana, of him by whom the three gunas, or qualities of material nature, Atmagudham, dormant in yourself, Abhasi, in the water known as causal ocean, Anantashayanat, from the bed known as Ananta, another feature of yourself. Viramat Samadha, having awakened from the Samadhi, yogic trance. Nabhe, from the navel. Abhut, appear. Svakanika, from the seed. Vatavat, like the great banyan tree. Mahabjam, the great lotus of the world, has similarly grown. Translation. The cosmic manifestation, the material world, is also your body. This total lump of matter is agitated by your potent energy known as Kala Shakti. And thus the three modes of material nature are manifested. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. You awaken from the bed of Shesha, Ananta, and from your navel a small transcendental seed is generated. It is from this seed that the lotus flower of the gigantic universe is manifested, exactly as a banyan tree grows from a small seed. Purport. The three different forms of Mahavishnu, namely Karanodakashayi Vishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, who are the origin of creation and maintenance, are gradually being described. From Mahavishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu is generated. And from Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, Kshirodakashayi Vishnu gradually expands. Thus, Mahavishnu is the original cause of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and from the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu comes the lotus flower from which Lord Brahma is manifested. Thus, the original cause of everything is Vishnu, and consequently, the cosmic manifestation is not different from Vishnu. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, wherein Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhaho mata sarvam pravartate. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. Garbhodakashayi Vishnu is an expansion of Karanodakashayi Vishnu, who is an expansion of Sankarshan. In this way, Krishna is ultimately the cause of all causes, Sarvakarana Karanam. The conclusion is that both the material world and spiritual world are considered to be the body of the Supreme Lord. We can understand that the material body is caused by the spiritual body and is therefore an expansion of the spiritual body. Thus, when one takes up spiritual activities, one's entire material body is spiritualized. Similarly, in this material world, when the Krishna consciousness movement expands, the entire material world becomes spiritualized. As long as we do not realize this, we live in the material world. But when we are fully Krishna conscious, we live not in the material world, but in the spiritual world. Ki jai. Taseva teva puridam nija kala saktya samjodita prakriti dhamana atmagudham abhasyananta shayanat viramat samadhir nabhar abhut sakhanikavatavan mahabjam. The cosmic manifestation, the material world, is also your body. This total lump of matter is agitated by your potent energy known as Kala Shakti, and thus the three modes of material nature are manifested. You awaken from the bed of Shesha, Ananta, and from your navel a small transcendental seed is generated. It is from this seed that the lotus flower of the gigantic universe is manifested, exactly as a banyan tree grows from a small seed. Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Om Ajnanatimirannasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumitaminata Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna to all devotees who are here in the temple and outside of the temple online. Thank you for get together to glorify the wisdom of Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we hear two sections, very beautiful description of how God is great. How God is great, we have very beautiful description here. Lord Krishna, who is the cause of all causes, from whom everything emanates. He is the source, original source of everything. From him emanated Karanodakashai Vishnu. Karana means ocean, causal ocean. The Supreme Lord appeared in this beautiful form, just lying on Anantashesha bed. No, it was in the Karana ocean. It was lying in the Karana ocean in his Yoga Nidra, transcendental dream. And from him emanates Garbhodakashai Vishnu, who is lying on Anantashesha bed, from whom, from his lotus navel, is sprouting beautiful cosmic gigantic lotus flower on which Lord Brahma appeared. And within this stem of this lotus flower stem, all different universes are situated. Thank you. Then, from Lord Garbhodakashai Vishnu, Kiro Dakashai Vishnu appeared, which is known also as Param Atma, super soul, who is all pervading. It's like sun who is shining like today, beautiful day. Sun is on the sky, shining beautifully. And when there are some little ponds or some reservoirs of waters here and there, so this one sun is reflected in the surface of this water. So then we can be confused if we don't know that it's just only reflection. We can see that, oh, there's so many suns. The Supreme Lord as Paramatma is one, but he is reflected in hearts of all living entities. He is all pervading in his creation. We also know, we also hear today that Krishna, as original source of everything, he's also source of spiritual world and material world. Spiritual world we hear that is the origin of material world. Material world is just only extension or expansion of spiritual world, like our own body created by the energy of the Supreme Lord is also manifestation or extension of spiritual energy, us as part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit, Supreme Lord. So, as however, in our unfortunate situation, we left spiritual world and we are at the moment in this material world, bewildered by Kala Shakti, by the mode of material nature within this material universe, that causing us to think that we are this body and soul and mind, trying to imitate the Supreme Lord. As long as we cultivate or have inside of our heart and mind the desire to imitate the Supreme Lord, unfortunately, we need to stay in this material world because this material world, equipped by by the Supreme Lord, with his external illusory material energy, is meant to fulfill our false, unfortunate, miserable desires to imitate him, which is offensive. So as long as we have this material desire to imitate the Supreme Lord, Supreme Enjoyer, Supreme Creator, Supreme Proprietor, we need to stay in this material world. So, so this means that we are condemned forever? Not really. It's actually up to our desire. So desire is very powerful energy, can make us or can break us. So since we are blessed by this transcendental knowledge, we are so fortunate that we are able to understand what is what. Now, because of by dint of of Krishna's mercy and blessings of his dedicated devotees, we understood that we are not this material body and mind. We are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. We are eternal spiritual being. We belong to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we, in our original position as eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. And this is our constitutional position, be eternal servant of the Supreme Lord, meant to gratify his senses, make pleasure to him. And if we will do this, then, as we hear, if we will activate this uh, inner tendency to perform service for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, then we can transcend our material existence. We can spiritualize this our own material body. Like we heard before, that when we put hard, cold iron bar in fire, so after a while, being in a fire, this cold and hard iron bar will assume qualities of fire. And if we and become can become uh, mm, blazing red. Although still it is iron bar, but assume qualities of fire and can burn everything around if you touch to something. So similarly, we can see pure devotees like ordinary living entity, like ordinary human beings who are walking here and there. They have two legs, you know, one stomach, one head, two hands. Somebody who is in ignorance can be completely bewildered. So what is the difference between him and me? Well, it's humongous difference, like between this cold iron hard bar and fire. When this iron bar is in contact with fire, he can act like fire. Similarly, when pure devotee of the Lord, although seemingly is in material body, his body is totally spiritualized. It's like chintamani, like touchstone. When he will touch, every conditioned soul can turn into transcendental devotee of the Supreme Lord. He can spiritualize everyone around, like Prahlad Maharaj. Although Prahlad Maharaj was born in a demoniac dynasty, his body was completely spiritualized to such an extent that when he was talking about glories of the Supreme Lord to his schoolmates, his peers, 5 years old children born in demoniac families who were uh, saturated by demoniac qualities, demoniac mentality, demoniac culture, still Prahlad Maharaj was able, by his loving activities, meant to glorify the Supreme Lord, he was able to spiritualize even them. So all together they were chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord. This is the power of spiritual activities. The spiritual activities, as we know, are called technically devotional service. Since repeating good things is never bad, so let's refresh our memory. What is devotional service? So I will read from the teaching of Lord Chaitanya, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching to Sanatana Goswami about principles of devotional service, about the noble privilege which is devotional service. Prahlad Maharaj, who attained here. Actually, devotional service is the eternal life of the living entity and is lying dormant in everyone's heart. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, we are finding a wonderful verse. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunaya Shravanadi Shuddhachite Karai Udai, which indicate the statement that Krishna Prema, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema, this Krishna Prema, original pure love of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is situated in our heart. There is no other origin of this love of God. This is the nature of living entity, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, to love God. But being situated, unfortunately, in this bewildering material, illusory energy of the Supreme Lord, this material existence, uh, we need to purify our consciousness by Shramanadi Shuddhatitta Karayuda, by hearing and chanting about the glories of the Supreme Lord. The practice which invokes the dormant devotional service is called practical devotional service. The purpose is that the living entity is constitutionally part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. The Lord can be compared to the sun, and the living entities can be compared to molecules of sunshine. Under the spell of illusory energy, the spiritual spark is almost extinguished. But by practical devotional service, one can revive his natural constitutional position. By practical devotional service, one can revive his natural constitutional position. As soon as we fall down from spiritual world where we have beautiful spiritual body in touch with material existence, our spiritual body shrink to the seed. And now, by practical devotional service, we can revive our constitutional position. So this means that if we will practice devotional service in pure way, which we will read further, how to do this, we can nourish the seed and expand our spiritual body. And then when this will grow and grow and grow and expand, our material body will become completely spiritualized. When one practices devotional service, it should be understood that he is returning to his original and normal liberated position. Devotional service can be practiced with one's senses under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. One big spiritual activities for advancement in Krishna consciousness by hearing. One begins spiritual activities for advancement in Krishna consciousness by hearing. Hearing is the most important method for advancement, and one should be very eager to hear fervently about Krishna. Giving up all speculation and furtive activity, one should simply worship and desire to attain to love of God. That love of God is eternally existing within everyone. It simply has to be evoked by the process of hearing. Hearing and chanting are the principal methods of devotional service. Smartavya Satam Vishnur, Vismartya Navajatuchit. We should always remember Krishna and never forget him. This is the principal methods of devotional service, invoked by hearing and chanting. Devotional service may be regulative or affectionate. One who has not developed transcendental affection for Krishna should conduct his life according to the directions and regulations of the scriptures and the spiritual master. In Srimad Bhagavatam 2.1.5, Shukadeva Goswami advises Maharaj Parikshit, Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Bhari Shotavya Kititavyashcha Smartavyashcha Chatabhayam. O best of the Bharatas, it is the prime duty of persons who want to become fearless to hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, and to chant about him and always remember him, Lord Vishnu, is always to be remembered. Indeed, he is not to be forgotten for even a moment. He is the sum and substance of all regulative principles. The conclusion is that when all the rules, regulations, recommended and prohibited activities revealed in scriptures are taken together, the remembrance of the Supreme Lord is invariably the essence of everything. Remembrance of the Supreme Personality of God within one's heart is the goal of devotional service. So, whatever service we have, what is the goal of this devotional service, of this spiritual engagement? Remembering the Supreme Lord within the heart. When devotional service is performed purely and affectionately, there is no question of regulative principles. There are no do's and don'ts. Then we can say, okay, whatever comes to my mind, I will do, for Krishna. There's no do's, there is no don'ts, so I can do whatever I like. Not really. It's not in this way. So it is like parents have children, like we have yesterday, were blessed by taking care of Ruchi for a little while. So this little child is growing in certain atmosphere. Of course, this special soul took birth in a Vaishnava family and is constantly surrounded by Vaishnavas. And she of course is very fortunate soul. She is very pious because because otherwise she would be not able to accept birth in such circumstances. So because she is very pious, very saintly, so therefore she has spiritual education from the very beginning, constantly hearing bhajans, chant the glories of the Supreme Lord, and she is almost like 2 years old still. She has big attraction to chanting Hare Krishna. When she hears kirtan, she is dancing and smiling. She is also learning how to play different instruments. She is surrounded by loving devotees of the Lord. She's constantly in saintly atmosphere of holy name of the Lord. So this is privilege. This is noble privilege. And when she is growing in this beautiful Vaishnava culture, she is developing spiritual behavior of Vaishnava culture. So she, from the very beginning, is able to learn the art of engaging her senses and mind in intelligence in Krishna conscious activities. She is developing by association of saintly parents and other wonderful devotees, well-wishers, to develop this Krishna conscious mentality and attraction to spiritual activities of Krishna conscious culture. So when she will grow up, like all other members of our society, like, we can see that, like, Harichakra Prabhu's dynasty, all his children grew up. They were born in a Vaishnava family and grew up, and Krishna consciousness is very dear to all the hearts. So whenever is some spiritual activity, some spiritual event, they are all very eager and with great enthusiasm participating to glorify the Supreme Lord. So this is for them natural. Why is natural now? Because they were growing up in the very beginning into such Krishna conscious atmosphere. Like I remember in my childhood, as far as I can reach with my memory, I was always, was told by my parents, say thank you. If you receive something from someone, say thank you. So I was repeating, thank you. Yes. If I did something wrong, apologize. Say, I'm sorry. Uh, excuse me. Please forgive me. So this was I was taught. And by constant repetition every day, my parents were constantly trying to embed this in my mind and in my behavior. So when I was growing up in this type of, training, following rules and regulations of my home, so I developed this type of mentality and I start to act and behave in this way and then judge things around according this what these rules and regulations that I learned. Of course, in due course of time, they became so natural, my like uh, 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 like my nature, and this is my nature because I grew up in this way. So it is, I'm not thinking to say thank you or say excuse me. No, I don't to remember this, it is so natural, so automatical. I don't need to remember what my mother told me or my daddy told me. No, it's just so natural. I just by practice it make it perfect. So it's like my nature. So therefore I don't follow it anymore, say thank you or give to the person. No, this is so natural. So similarly, this uh, devotional service, regulated devotional service is teaching us like this parents teaching little children what to do. Don't do this, do this. Don't act in this way, act in this way. Don't behave like this, in this way, behave in this way. So this constant training in the rules and regulations, do's and don'ts. But when child growing up in this atmosphere, it's becoming so natural for him. Similarly, if we grow up in Krishna consciousness, these rules and regulations of Vaidhi Bhakti, it turning into Raga Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous, affectionate rules and regulations with which we don't think there's rules and this is my nature. So therefore, the remembrance about Krishna in our heart is always and everywhere. It's so natural. We don't need to be reminded, Prabhu, do you remember Krishna? No, it is so natural. So Bhakti Yoga is this uh, about this type of development to bring our ourselves to this original natural constitutional position. Krishna consciousness is nothing artificial. It is natural for all of us. Is- In other words, we are not learning anything exotic from India. We are just learning about ourselves. It's like sometimes we hear there's unfortunate car accident, and let's say this person who has some terrible crash in a car accident was a big professor of some Harvard University, a very educated person, very intelligent, who knows so many different things and has a lot of wisdom, but due to this unfortunate car accident, body lose its memory. He's not even able to remember his own name. What to speak about his spouse? He's not is able to remember his family members, where he lives. Nothing. He just forgot. And just few minutes before or seconds before this accident, he was full of wisdom and knowledge, so eloquent, capable to explain so many detailed things that are not possible for ordinary man. Now, after a few seconds of this car accident, he forgot everything, including his own name. So we, due to impact of this mm, uh, collision from spiritual world to material world, this impact in this accident, this collision cause for amnesia in our consciousness. We forgot our constitutional natural position as eternal servant of God. So therefore, by therapy, spiritual therapy of bhakti yoga, we need to recover what we forgot. So in other words, we are not learning anything new. It's just trying to recover what we forgot. And all these different practices are meant to purify our consciousness, to nourish our spiritual memory to come back to our constitutional position. Therefore, I'm continuing reading. One should generally accept the following principles to properly execute devotional service. First, take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Second, receive initiation from the spiritual master. 3. Serve the spiritual master. 4. Inquire and learn love from the spiritual master. So this is quite interesting. Inquire and learn love from the spiritual master. Somebody can say, learn love from spiritual master. I know how to love. Not really. We have tendency because of our consciousness being polluted by modes of material nature in this darkness, dark darkness of material existence in Kali Yuga. We have tendency to identify lust with love. So therefore, we need to learn love, real love, from spiritual master. 5. Follow in the footsteps of holy persons devoted to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. 6. Prepare to give up all kinds of enjoyment and miseries for the satisfaction of Krishna. Oh, this is quite, demanding to forget, to prepare to give up all kinds of enjoyment and miseries for the satisfaction of Krishna is quite interesting. So, but still, if we want to go through the process of recovery, we need to be open for applying all these recommendations. So by hearing these different recommendations, different rules and regulations, which are referring to purify the performance of our devotional service, we can see where we actually situated. Sometimes we are wondering where I am on the ladder of bhakti. So here you go. We can, by hearing these principles of bhakti, we can analyze, we can consult ourselves with this text where I am situated. If it's so natural for me, it's no problem. Give up on all kinds of enjoyment and miseries for the satisfaction of Krishna, then we are well. If not, we need to work on it. 7. Live in a place where Krishna and his pastimes, like like Gita Nagari, be satisfied by whatever is sent by Krishna for the maintenance of the body and hanker for no more. 9. Observe fasting on Ekadashi day. 10. Show respect to devotees, cows, and sacred trees like the banyan tree or tulsi tree. It is essential for a neophyte devotee who is beginning to follow the path of devotional service to observe these 10 principles. One should also try to avoid offenses in serving the Lord and in chanting his holy names. And here is the listed this 10 offenses against the holy name. And I'm aware that all devotees are very well acquainted with this, so then I will skip this for the sake of lack of time, because I have one more page to read. Another 10 additional regulations are as follows. One should try to avoid offenses in the service of the Lord and in chanting the holy names of the Lord. One should avoid the association of unholy non-devotees. One should not attempt to have many disciples. One should not take the trouble to understand many books or to understand partially any particular book, and one should avoid discussing different doctrines. One should be composed both in gain and in loss. One should not be subject to any kind of lamentation. One should not disrespect the demigods or other scriptures. One should not tolerate blasphemy against the Supreme Lord and his devotees. One should avoid ordinary topics of novels and fiction, but there is no injunction that one should avoid hearing ordinary news. One should not give any trouble to any living creature, including a small bug. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, compiled by Srila Rupa Goswami, it is said that one should be very liberal in behavior and should avoid any undesirable activities. Again, so it can be a little bit confusing for maybe new devotees. What does it mean, be very liberal in behavior? Ah, so this means that I can do whatever I like. Not really. We should be liberal in behavior toward others, be very gentle, tolerant, compassionate, merciful, but very strict about ourselves. Not very liberal, but liberal toward others and very strict about ourselves, to conduct ourselves properly. And should avoid any undesirable activities. The most important affirmative points are that one should accept the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, be initiated by him, and serve him. In addition to these, there are 35 items of devotional service, and they can be analyzed as follows. So in this way, we can see that devotional service is not just only run here, run there, have fun to do something and enjoy. You can do this. But higher level or quality of devotional service is to be aware why we're doing what we're doing. We are doing this not for our enjoyment, but for the satisfaction of the senses of the Supreme Lord. So first, hearing, chanting, remembering, worshiping, praying, serving, engaging as a servitor, being friendly, offering everything to Krishna, dancing before the deity, singing. Singing, why is spend mentioned here? Well, maybe we sometimes can experience when we chant during Mangalarati or any kirtan. So this is not the role of leader of that he need to sing and all others just can murmur. And he will just chant Hare Krishna. Everybody. No, we need to in unison chant for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. It's like in big chor, I would say in English. Chor. Yeah? Choir? Like in choir. So this person who is directing the tune and melody, so that all others they follow in unison with all voices. So this not just only the leader, but also everybody else. So singing is important to give pleasure because this is performance for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Informing, offering obeisances, standing up to show respect to the devotees, following a devotee when he gets up to go to the door. Wow, we can see that even such details. It's like a little child who is learning life, what to do, what not to do, all the different things. So we are just learning that we should even following the devotee when he gets up to go to the door. Such detail. But this is the aspect of devotional service, to be respectful. Entering the temple of the Lord. circumambulating the temple of the Lord, reading prayers, vibrating hymns, performing sankirtan or congregational chanting, smelling the incense and flowers offered to the deity, accepting prasad, attending to artrika ceremony. So here we have also another beautiful principle, attending the aratric ceremony of worshiping the Supreme Lord. Therefore, Mangala Arati is called Mangala. Why? Because it's auspicious. Mangala is auspicious. When we start uh, attending Aratrika ceremony in the very early morning, where to greet the Supreme Lord with our singing, our dancing, and performing for His pleasure, we are starting day in a very auspicious way. So that entire day can be very auspicious, very helpful to remember Krishna in all our activities. Seeing the deity, we are coming closer to seeing the deity greeting. So when this deity greeting, so we shouldn't, do deity greeting is opening, altar is opening, and then we are just cleaning here, this, and then busy with different things around, and not paying attention to see the deities. Deity greeting means greeting the deities, to see deities, how beautiful they are, not just cleaning this, moving this. No, there will be a moment afterwards, just 2, 3 minutes later, that you can do this. First, appreciate the beauty of the Supreme Lord. Respect deities by seeing them. Another, offering palatable foodstuffs to the Lord. Meditating about the Lord. Offering water to the Tulsi tree. Offering respect to the Vaishnavas or advanced devotees. Living in a Mathura or Vrindava. Also, Gita Nagari, understanding Srimad Bhagavatam, trying one's utmost to attain Krishna, expecting the mercy of Krishna, performing ceremonial functions with the devotees of Krishna, surrendering in all respects, observing different ceremonial functions. To this, to these 35 items, other four can be added, marking one's body with sandalwood pulp and show that one is a Vaishnava. So when in act of devotion is mentioned that we should mark our body with tilas, which is um, showing that we are Vaishnavas. Painting one's body with the holy names of the Lord, covering one's body with the remnants of the deity covers, accepting charanamrita, the water which washes the deities. These four additional items make 39 items for devotional service in all. And out of all of these, the following five are most important. Listen, to associate with devotees. This is first, foremost, most important, to associate with devotees. Second, to chant the holy name of the Lord. Third, to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Four, to live in a holy place such as Mathura or Vrindavan. Five, to serve the deity with great devotion. These items are especially mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami in his book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The 39 items above plus these 5 items total 44 items. And to this, the 20 preliminary occupations are a total of 64 different items for conducting devotional service. One can adopt the 64 items with his body, mind, and senses, and thus gradually purify his devotional service. Thank you very much for your attention. Hare Krishna. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to ask. We have some little, very little time. Yes. Mhm. Maybe, maybe it was interesting for you, not for everyone. Let's see what Krishna has for us. We are just tools, instruments in the hands of representatives of Krishna. We shouldn't do what we want to do. We should be ready what we are requested to do or what we're supposed to do. There will be time and needs, so naturally we'll be engaged in this way. But if there is no need, there will be no necessity to be engaged in this way. Everyone has access to all these books which are meant to educate us what is good, what is bad, what we should do, what we shouldn't do, and act accordingly. Devotional service or bhakti yoga is voluntary process for our own individual personal benefit. Of course, if we will advance in Krishna consciousness, so we'll not only benefit ourselves, but also we can help others to benefit. But not everyone is strong to accept such education. So we need to be flexible and adjust accordingly to the needs of the circumstances. Devotees online, do you have something to say? Not really.
Prabhu,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Yeah,
Prabhu.
I want to thank you for a very nice class. I really
Thank you.
appreciate your reading. These subject matters, sometimes devotees think that, well, this is very rudimentary. Um, I want to hear, some more elevated philosophy, but these rudiments of Krishna consciousness are very critical. We need to master these, elementary elements of achar of Vaishnav behavior in order to be able to progress to more advanced stages. It's not something that we can neglect or skip over. All these things are very, very important. The fundamental rules and regulations all have a critical function in facilitating our advancement. So it's very, very important, very important. And it's good to hear these things again and again because our memories are very short. We become preoccupied with all kinds of other subject matters that are extraneous. We need constant reminders. Srila Prabhupada often did not speak very elevated philosophy. He just brought us back again and again to the simple